Hello and welcome to another Skaredcast tournament and review. Today, we get to go to the Toronto Full Open, 6 rounds, balance update, Drukhari point increases. Can I do something about it?
The Dark King.
Hello and welcome to another tournament and review. I'm Skari. We're going to be going over my 2,000 point foray into Realspace Raid, a detachment for the Drukhari army. Games Workshop just released point increases for the Dark Eldar, which means most armies went up 50 to 100 points. This event is running the new point updates, the new rules. I'm really excited to test this out. Let's head to the event. I'm going to show you the army. We're going to go to the event. We're going to play 6 rounds. I'm going to talk about what I learned, come back to the studio, break it down, and see if I need to change anything in this list to make it tick even harder. And here's the 2,000 point army. Now, my goal for this event will be to get a better best overall score than I did last time. I think I was in top 15 best overall and like top 10 generalship last time I went last year. But it's time to really put the pedal to the metal with the point changes. And I even made a display board. I haven't finished it fully yet, but I did make a display board. And check it out. I got little tea lights that have little fire, and they go into these little spots here like this. And it's gonna showcase my whole army. I am making a video on how to make a display board, so stay tuned for that. But it's always nice to have it. I also broke it as I was making this video. I'm so annoyed at myself. I have to fix that now. And here we have 2,000 points of Drukhari. So let's dive in. Archon Skari himself. He is the warlord. Now, because it's Realspace Raid Detachment, I've given him Labyrinthine Cunning to give me some command points back. I do have a Court of the Archon that he's going to go with, and a unit of 10 Cavalry Warriors that can be split in Venoms or run as a big brick, depending on what you want. I also brought Urien Rakarth himself, 5 Racks, 2 units of 3 Grotesques, 2 units of 2 Talos with twin liquefire guns, Haywire blasters, and a macro gauntlets, and 2 Chronos is like a coven part of the list. I also brought Lilith Hesperax and 10 Witches. They can be split in a Venom or go in a Raider, depending on what I need. I did bring 1 Beast Pack with a Beastmaster. Now, even with the point increases, I think they're still incredible. Beast Pack equals best pack. Some Reaver Jet Bikes with a Heat Lance and Cluster Caltrops. 2 units of 5 Mandrakes for some scoring potential. And then for vehicles, we have 2 Venoms with double cannon, 1 Ravager with triple lance, 1 Raider, and last but not least, 1 unit of Scourge with 4 Haywire blasters. And there you have it, 2,000 points on the nose. But what is the purpose of this list? So the purpose of the list is to be grindy. Like my Void Raven Bomber list is awesome. However, it tends to win games it's going to win faster and better. That gives me a little bit of extra time at the end of each round to sort of sit and relax. And it's good on like that exhaustion factor. But sometimes I wish I had more tools to sort of grind out those wins, especially in a singles environment where winning by 1 or 2 points is the same as by winning by 20, especially when it's a win-loss system. So that was the aim. I'm hoping that I have lots of little units to do actions with and mission. I'm gonna be diving into the stratagems of Realspace Raid, like double move and -1 to hit and -1 to wound coven, and potential. I think the double move is probably going to be the most important as well. So with that, wish me luck. Let's go down to the Toronto Full Open, play 6 rounds, and we'll come back to the studio and I'll tell you what I learned after playing. I'm not going to let the point changes deter me for this event. My goal is to win or do well. So I want to get the best overall score I can do. That's a combination of hobby, sportsmanship, and generalship. That's my goal. Let's go to the event and see how I do. And it's tournament day. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I got up at like 5:30 and drove here. Let's dive into the games. And here we are in the hall. Getting ready. Tabletop Live is streaming it, so let's get into round 1. Round number 1, playing against Sisters of Battle. We don't play squish deployment very often, but let's get to it. Terraform. Okay, round 1 ended up winning against the Sisters. We're on to round 2. I'm playing Kai, who's on the Discord, one of the denizens, member of the GTA 40K and the Glory Hogs. That's right. That's right. And he's playing Dark Eldar. Realspace Raid on Realspace Raid. He's got way more Talos than I do, more Scourge than I do, and a Bomber. No!
We'll see how impactful that bomber becomes, but it is going to be a fun time. Okay, with that, round number 2. Or into round 2, I ended up playing Kai and his Dark Eldar. I ended up winning that game. That was a great game. Kai was a great sport. There was a misplay with the beast pack, which then I was able to heroic intervene, and it was a whole wild thing. So with that, I did win that round. Then I went on to round number 3 for the day. Okay, so round number 3, I played on the tabletop live stream against Chris, who is the Canadian captain for the 40K national team. Custodes versus Dark Eldar, supply drop. Very, very good game. Go check that out as well. Ended up winning that match, and then for the 4th round, ended up playing Stephen with his Dark Angels. We did end up playing on this map here. This game was recorded for the Tabletop Live Patreon, so make sure you check that out if you want. I did end up winning that match. The Lion survived with 1 wound remaining. Everything else was dead. And it was crazy. Like, I'm so exhausted after 4 rounds. I'm so tired. I'm gonna go home. I'll go to my brother's house, actually. Gonna sleep, and then back tomorrow for 2 more rounds. The other, we'll see what happens then. And here we are, round number 5, playing Vincent and Blood Angels, using the new Blood Angel Codex. So it's like a super fun Blood Angel Codex stuff happening. Mephiston, Blade Guard, a bunch of Death Company. He went first on the ritual. He's got 93% win rate going first. Let's see if I can spoil that today. He's smiling. Vincent's smiling. It'll be a fun game. This is definitely, I've already reached the goals for my army because it's a new test list. So with that, it's just everything's gravy from now, baby. I love it. So with that, let's move on to the game. Wish me luck. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, end of the game. Round number 5. I did end up winning that game. Vincent was a great opponent. I want to say this game was a story of Haywire murdering stuff, because I rolled so many 6s to wound with Haywire, and he had a lot of 3 damage guys that died to Haywire. It was wild. Other than that, moving on to the last round of the event. 1 more game. Let's see who we end up facing. Okay, round number 6. I ended up playing Devon and 6 Catan. It was on stream again, Tabletop Live, the last round of day 2 of the Toronto Fall Open. So make sure you check out the channel, go watch it. And if you enjoyed it, I did end up winning. So that is a victory. So with that, 6-0 with the Realspace Raiders. Let's go back to the studio and talk about it, see what I learned, and what is moving to the future.
Welcome back to the studio, and that's right, best overall, 6-0. Haha. That's right, this trophy looks really, really cool. It's a little ultramarine guy with best overall right there. I'm excited. I am really proud of this achievement. This is going to be going up onto the wall right next to my Red Dragon first place trophy. Oh, buddy. There we go. It was awesome. Let's go over the list and what I learned. I cannot wait to break it down because it was a wild ride. This list did amazing. It had all the tools that I wished it had, and it was great. Let's start with Urian. He's a little tank. If you watch any of the stream games on Tabletop Live, you can just see how much damage he soaks up. The racks were okay. They're probably one of the only things in the list that I'm like, I could do without them, but they're 60 points. They're cheap. They're 10 OC. If you don't kill them fully, Urian brings them back, that kind of thing. The 2 units of Grotesques are probably one of the WTF units. For them, they're basically good enough. They have flamers, they're durable enough, they are annoying enough, they are killy enough, barely enough, but they're okay. They're good for like that initial scrimmage in the middle of the board without me having to commit too much to the table. The Talos were fantastic, MVPs, they're tough, they kill stuff with flamers. I like the Haywires, but some people have been loving the Heat Lances. I think that's a preference thing, but I really, really like 3 damage twin link dev wounds. It's just, that literally won me my 5th game, killing all of the Space Marines. 2 units of single Chronos. I can't believe those did not take a points increase, and the pain token change where you can actually use a pain token, roll it. instantly get it refunded and use it in the same phase thanks to the Games Workshop FAQ is just phenomenal. I really like that change and makes them super powerful. They're also really good at doing like actions and things as well. I only took 5 Scourge because Scourge are pain token hungry, and they're also really expensive, but only 1 unit with Haywire supplemented the list well. And because it's only 1 unit, sometimes I deep struck it. And normally I didn't with Dark Lances. You could make them Dark Lances, you could make them Heat Lances, you could make them Splinter Cannons, but I'm a huge fan of the Haywires. 2 Venoms and 1 Raider. The cool thing about Realspace Raid is it's not as reliant on dedicated transports, which means that you can lose them all and that's fine. You don't really gain too much other than movement. But I like having them for splitting my units. The Raider was good to be able to run the big 10-man court in the Raider to save it from like out of line of sight fire and things like that. Or I would put a 5-man unit of Witches in there, or Mandrakes or something, or the Racks, depending on the mission. Now, one of the units I wasn't sure about was my Ravager. And over 6 games, I actually really liked my Ravager. I think he only died 1 game. And those Dark Lances hitting on 3s was actually quite nice over a unit of Scourge. The key though was I had enough in the army to pressure my opponent. So when my Ravager was exposed out in the open, they had better targets to shoot at, like Grotesques and Talos, or a Court, or a Beast Pack, and the Ravager tended to just be ignored, but tended to do some damage. 2 units of Mandrakes I think are key, even with a point increase. They just help me score tons of points. And the Reaver Jet Bikes. They were a late addition to this list, and I really liked them for like some scoring, double moving, a Heat Lance, a cheeky Heat Lance. Lilith and the Witches did their thing. They just absolutely murder every infantry thing they touch, and I really like them. And last but not least, the Beast Pack. As I predicted, the Beast Pack is still worth it at 120 points. They are still incredible, and I would never leave home without one. So what would I change after 6 of these games? Well, I think the list itself works. It has all the tools. The point changes are very, very tight. I think one of the things you could change is you could drop a Raider for another Venom if you want to keep the Cavalite Warriors on foot, or you could just switch it for nothing and save yourself 80 points and potentially even drop like 1 unit of Grotesque and then put in a 3rd unit of Talos. So that's one option. Another option is to drop the 2 units of Grotesques if you don't want to do those and put in a 3rd unit of Talos. I think the answer is more Talos. Everything else works really well. If you did drop that for Venom, it gives you 10 points, which doesn't really, unless you take them out, that's 75 points. So you could switch that for Venom and drop the Raider, the Reavers, and put in a Venom, and then put another unit of Mandrakes in. So that's another option. So there are some little tweaks that you could do. But I really like the composition of this list. It has enough units, it has enough durability, it uses every stratagem well. The enhancement on the Archon was awesome. I really like Labyrinthine Cunning, getting that extra CP. Pretty much every time I didn't have a card to burn for secondaries, which allowed me to play a lot more of the sneaky like double moves and -1 to wounds and things like that, which came in quite handy. Worth the hefty price tag, especially because my court tends to soak up a lot of command points. And there you have it. This was a super, super fun event. I really had a lot of fun learning about this list and doing a whole bunch of stuff with that. Now, when I start a list, I like playing about 20 games with a list before I sort of like determine whether or not it's finished or complete. So far, with the 6 games of this event, I've played with this list, I want to say 8 times. So it's about halfway to what I would consider a finished list. So I hope you take inspiration from this. If you want to do your own 20-game journey, make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know what it is you are working on, because it is that sort of practice that makes perfect. Take what you want. Don't listen to the internet pundits. Try stuff that you like and enjoy, and then put the grind on to make sure that stuff that you want to work with works. I did want to give a huge shout out to the Tabletop Forge, to the Red Dragon, also to Wayland Yutani. Thank you so much. These mats are incredible. You can order stuff from them. The links will be in the description below. And to the channel Patreons, without whom none of this is possible. Thank you so much, Denizen community. It's without you, I wouldn't be able to do all these cool events and do this stuff for a living. If you'd like to support the channel, hop onto the Discord, participate in a whole bunch of cool stuff. The link for that is in the description below. And StatCheck had said that Drukhari hadn't won a GT in Pariah, and so that's when I took that personally. Thanks all for watching, everybody. I'll see you on the next one. The Dark Kin. Bye, everyone.